What plugins do you use? Are there any you kind of swear by?
Let's see. There's this one company, Stillwell, I think, that I've been liking a lot. Yeah, it's like the Bombardier. It's this bus compressor that's pretty cool. It's like very, very clean. That's really awesome. I always forget, like, the Oxford stuff is fantastic. The Oxford EQ. What's really cool about the Oxford EQ is, like, apart from being really clean, it adjusts the volume for you. Okay. So if you boost any frequency, it really just changes the character and the EQ of the sound, but it'll adjust your volume so your volume's unchanged. Because normally when you EQ, you have to, like, let's say you boost a bunch of mids, or they always say cut it, so that well, with this you could do whatever, because like it'll always just balance right back, so you can just change the tone.
That's a really cool idea.
And one other trick that I learned that was kind of cool for guitars and creating separation, which I've been using on newer mixes, is using the Waves S1, I think, which is like this stereo imager, which normally I'd stay away from, like the Plague, because it waits at like super wide stereo sound on the entire mix. But when you do it on just the guitars, it kind of opens up the center channel for the snare, the bass, and vocals a bit more. Yeah. And you get a lot more separation between the guitars and those things, so it's pretty cool.
That's good, that's good. Which artist or band that you're a fan of do you think that your fans would be most disappointed for you liking?
That's a really good way of phrasing the guilty pleasure question, because I don't believe in guilty pleasures. But I don't know. I mean, I really like some Owl City songs. Have you ever heard Owl City?
His production's awesome.
Oh yeah, sound design's incredible.
It's a real reason.
And I think it's like really creative, poppy songwriting. His voice is like kind of, it doesn't even sound like a person, it's like, and I think that's like, really make or break for a lot of people. But like, I think that there's some really creative ideas there. I don't really listen to a lot of metal these days, just because we're so surrounded by it. So it's like, I need something else to sort of change the pace. But I don't know if it's weird that I like, any of these bands, but definitely check out Carnival if you haven't already. And talking about like production and mix, like the Sound Awakes mix is one of the greatest things you'll ever hear. Yeah. And the Deer Hunter, I don't know, maybe that's weird, but check out the Deer Hunter, because like that's just like one of my favorite bands in the whole world. Awesome. And not to be confused with Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter is DEER. This is the DEAR Hunter. Okay. 3 words.
Act 2.
What?
Act 2.
Act 2 and Act 3 are my favorites, absolutely.
What kind of influences do you have for your electronica then? Because you have the
definitely Telephone, Tel Aviv. If you've ever, and this is like not really an electronica band per se, but they have elements. Is Jaga Yazist I think they're from Norway or from Sweden, I forget. But they're awesome, and like over time they've gone less like sort of drum and bass meets jazz to more like instrumental mute math to like just weird, but like they're a big influence, and I love BT. Yeah, I love BT. Just I love things that sound huge. I love just amazing sound design. So yeah.
What kind of samples and software do you use for those glitchy sections on the tracks in the album?
It's a whole bunch of things. Reason's always a safe bet, Oh yeah, Reason's awesome.
That's what I use.
I love Reason. I use some hypersonic stuff. I use some Reactor stuff. And lately, but not on the album, but like the Spectrasonic stuff, like Omnisphere. Oh my god, like that's just like insta amazing sounds. Like the Omnisphere is like probably one of the best pieces of software that I bought recently. I really like that.
That's awesome. What's the most memorable thing you've seen written about yourself or Periphery on the internet?
Misha, you're gay. So are you really brown, or are you just dirty? I don't know. I do wash sometimes.
I'm in an electronic and metal band called You and What Army, and I'm the vocalist and producer, and this isn't really a question, but I've got like a CD here, and I just wanted to give this to you. Do you feel like I've betrayed your trust by kind of...
You put me on camera, so now I have to say, check this band out.
Yeah. So when did you feel you found your sound for the first time, or do you feel you have it all?
I feel like I'm honing in on it, but it's like something I don't think I've come to terms with the fact I'll never be truly happy with where I'm at, and like I probably won't ever find my sound. And like, plus like, influences change, and like what you want to hear changes. So hopefully like all I would hope for is that no matter what I do, it still like kind of sounds like that I'm doing it, like I have some sort of signature on it. But there's no way that I would know that. That would be like really a listener thing to determine.
What's the most common misconception you find beginner producers have?
That like what someone else tells you is like the only way that you can do something. I see people on forums just like blindly listening to advice. Not that there's anything wrong with taking advice, but I think like I know personally, like when someone criticizes a mix of mine, I usually won't care because it's like I have my own views on it. But when they say something that like I feel like sort of hurts or sort of like offensive almost, it's probably because it's true. And like then I can take like an honest look at it. And also like, when people who I respect as producers and musicians like give me advice, I'll listen to that. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to what you think of it. I mean, what's the point in trying to please everyone else if you're not happy with it? So it's like my basic piece of advice I give to anyone else is just trust your ears, trust your own ears, because like who cares if your mix needs more 500K or something? It's like if that's what someone else thinks, that's awesome. You know what's really funny is half the times they're like, oh yeah, I mean I was listening on laptop speakers. It's like, oh thanks, dude, thanks for that. But yeah, it's just like there's no one way to do anything. There's no right way to do anything. Honestly, it's all opinion. So just be aware of that when you're taking people's advice in the future. Take everything with a grain of salt and just kind of just trust yourself to. If you just copy other people's settings and like oh I always have to do this when I'm doing that, like you just won't end up with your own sound. You'll end up sounding like a watered down version of someone else. Whereas if you and it takes a lot longer to do things the way that I've done it. I realize that, but like I feel like my mixes have more of an original sound than like just trying to sound like another Andy Sneap ripoff or something like that.
Definitely.
I wish I could mix like Andy Sneap, though, in all honesty.
All right, that's really nice. Let's wrap it up with what's your biggest rock star moment?
I have to say touring in Australia. Touring in Australia was like, I got to be a rock star for a week. Only in respect of like the lifestyle. Like, it was like we were driven everywhere. Everything was taken care of. We flew to every venue, and then like, your responsibility is basically to just show up at the gig. Oh wait, no, show up at the lobby on time so they can drive you to the gig. And then your gear is already set up. You don't have to like take any of it out. You don't have to pack any of it up at the end of the night. Just kind of chill in like really nice hotel rooms and really nice green rooms, and most of the stuff is taken care of you, or taken care of for you. The one downside is I think that if we had done a lot of that stuff ourselves, we would have saved a lot of money, which is why this time around that's what we're doing. So lesson learned: don't be a rock star.
Well, that's been brilliant. Thanks so much for
thank you.
This out. If you found this video useful, like it and subscribe to keep up to date with the latest Boy in a Band videos. You can follow me on Twitter @DavePBrown. And if you want to improve your production skills, head over to the Boy in a Band forum at boyinaband.com/forum and sign up so you can share your songs, get new fans, and valuable advice on how to improve your productions. Links for that in the description. Cheers for watching and have a nice day!